I would like our consumers to think about where they're sourcing if they're buying solar panels.
Well, that's advice from Pennsylvania Congressman Scott Perry reacting to a report showing China controls 80% of the solar panel supply chain. More Chinese-made solar panels were installed around the world just last year than has come out of the U.S. in its entire history, and that number is still growing. Meanwhile, a 2022 FBI investigation found that equipment sold by Chinese-based companies can be used to disrupt U.S. military communications. Those facts, among other evidence, leads many U.S. officials, including Representative Scott Perry, to believe certain solar panels could pose a national security risk.
When it comes to products like solar panels, like communications equipment, like transformers, all of that, they're always going to have an eye to how can we control it, how can we shut it off, how can we manipulate it in our favor at the time of our choosing to serve our purpose, our interests.
Congressman Scott Perry serves on both the Foreign Affairs and Intelligence Committees in the U.S. House, and he doesn't mince words when it comes to China.
Anything that is sourced or touches the Communist Party of China is a national security threat. Anything.
He's not alone. According to an investigative report all the way back in 2012, national security concerns have developed from Chinese-based companies, mostly in telecommunications. But China has flooded the solar panel market in recent years, and some government officials are worried about that too.
The United States doesn't produce almost any of the materials used to make a solar panel, but the Chinese do.
That's where all the infrastructure is. That's where the product is.
Larry Byler is the Vice President of Design and Procurement for Paradise Energy Solutions in Lancaster County. They're a solar panel installer, a go-between from manufacturer and customer.
The solar panel itself isn't communicating with anything. I would look at inverters a little bit different.
That's the security threat, the inverter. It converts solar panel power into energy we can use. It also connects to the internet and the power grid.
Go in there and say, turn off. I can turn it off, I can adjust it remotely. The grid, the utility companies want to be able to control that at least to some degree. So that's why I would say that's a little bit more of a challenge.
Ensuring more elements are made in the U.S. limits the security concern. The problem has been simple. U.S. manufacturers are behind the times.
Cells are going to be a lot more expensive, and they're not going to be as efficient. So if someone wants a U.S.-made product, in 5 years ago, I would have said that's almost impossible to get something that's 100% made in the U.S. Today, it's a little bit different.
That shift, Byler says, largely has occurred as a byproduct of the Inflation Reduction Act of 2022 and recent tariffs placed on imports from Southeast Asia. While the cheapest and most efficient panels still come from that region, subsidies for U.S.-based manufacturers and tax credits for consumers may be changing the tide.
They're working to make everything in the U.S. and probably should be there by later this year, potentially.
It's a relationship Rep. Perry says needs to be strengthened.
It's a short-term acknowledgement. We need to, incentivize our businesses to be able to compete.
Regardless of how the money side plays out, Rep. Perry says government officials will continue to push in one way or another to bring the sun back to the U.S.
For your average citizen that's not buried in this stuff, they're trying to live their lives, and they just want to buy stuff at the store, right? So it might say made in China, but as long as the quality is there, they think, oh, okay. And why wouldn't they think that? Their own government, the United States government, has been telling them all along for most of their adult lives that China is a strategic adversary. They're a competitor.
Now, as politics go, there are many different ways politicians say to incentivize businesses for solar panels and more. You can find an extended interview with Representative Perry on his views, policies, and proposed legislation on our website. Now, as for your local solar panel installer, Paradise Energy Solutions officials say you can simply ask for U.S.-sourced materials and can get them. They may be a little more expensive now, but expect that to change in the next year or two. For more information on solar panels and much more, visit our website, fox43.com.